believe the stories we're hearing tonight? It's like a whole new world out there.
Absolutely, and the best part is sharing it with you all live. Welcome to Straight to English Channel.
Ooh, hello there. I have a question I want you to answer, honestly, right here, right now. How are you really feeling? Are you just like a standard kind of tired that a good night's sleep will fix? Or are you totally empty, running on absolutely nothing but habit?
That is the essential diagnostic question of modern life, isn't it? We're stepping into a really crucial conversation today. It's a moment we overheard between two colleagues, Max and Lily. Max has hit a wall, and he desperately needs the vocabulary. The framework to understand that being merely stressed is entirely different from being truly depleted.
And this is so key, because if you misdiagnose the problem, you use the wrong tools to fix it, right? As we understand it, stress is having too much on your plate. It's physical hyperactivity. Your brain is in overdrive trying to juggle like 5 things at once.
Correct. Stress is a state of action and high alarm. Burnout, on the other hand, is deep, pervasive emotional emptiness. You no longer feel capable of caring because you have nothing left to give. I mean, the system isn't just sputtering, the engine has seized up entirely. So our mission today is to give you that shortcut to being well-informed. We're providing the exact vocabulary you need, from idioms like running on fumes and hit the wall, to the specific difference between numbing and true rest.
And most importantly, we will dissect the 7 different types of rest. Because we can tell you right now, shutting your eyes for 8 hours is usually only solving 1/7 of your problem.
Okay, let's unpack this opening scene. It's 8 p.m. The cleaning crew has long since left, but there's Max, still hunched over his laptop. He's surrounded by a disaster zone of sticky notes, crumpled wrappers, and a small mountain of empty coffee cups. He looks truly awful.
His posture alone suggests defeat. He's rubbing his temples, probably suffering from eye strain and maybe even a slight ticket. And Lily walks over and asks him very gently when he last took a proper day off.
And Max's reply is the classic tragic professional trap. He says, "If I stop now, everything will fall apart." He has convinced himself he is the only thing holding the world together.
And Lily, who is clearly more self-aware, immediately gives him the diagnosis he needs to hear. She says, "You're past stress, Max. That's classic burnout. You are running on fumes."
Oh, I love that phrase, running on fumes. It's such a powerful image. We all know the car analogy, right? You're driving, the gas light has been on for 20 miles, and the engine is trying to operate on just the vapors at the bottom of the tank.
Figuratively, that means operating with absolutely zero net energy left. You are not functioning productively. You are simply vaporizing your last precious reserves. It's a temporary holdover that leads to an inevitable collapse.
And here's where his cycle gets truly vicious. Max admits he feels this intense guilt the second he stops working. So when he gets home, instead of resting, he sits on the sofa and just scrolls endlessly on his phone until 2 a.m. He's trying to relax, but he's just making himself more tired.
That behavior has been perfectly encapsulated in a modern term, doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling. It sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, but it's so painfully real.
It's a combination of doom, impending disaster, or inevitable failure, and scrolling. It is the compulsive, often anxious act of consuming bad news, checking volatile market updates, or viewing endless social media drama. Even though you know it makes you sad or anxious or angry, you're paralyzed by the input, yet you can't look away.
And Lily points out the crucial difference. Doom scrolling is the ultimate enemy of rest because your brain is still actively processing all that negativity. You're not replenishing, you're just replacing one type of stimulation with another one.
Her urgent prescription to Max was simple and absolute. You need to unplug.
We all get unplug me a lamp, but in the figurative sense, I mean, how deep does that go?
It means intentionally disconnecting from all digital devices. No phone, no laptop, no smartwatch buzzing. It is literally stopping the electrical connection to the world's problems and demands. Max is electrically charged with tension, so he needs to break that circuit.
And his reaction was the proof he needed it. He panicked. He said, "Unplug, I'll panic if I do."
Exactly. That panic, that intense resistance to stillness, is a flashing red sign that the system is critically overloaded. Lily immediately concluded that Max needs sensory rest because his brain is overstimulated.
So overstimulated. It just means having way too much input, yeah.
Yeah.
Too much noise, too many screens, too many flashing lights, the constant buzz of notifications. Max's twitching eye was basically a small physical flag saying, "Stop the noise."
This leads us to the critical line everyone seems to cross, the difference between numbing and true resting. Max thought his late-night Netflix and scrolling routine was rest. It wasn't. It was numbing.
Can you define the difference more sharply for us? Because for a lot of people, a big binge watch feels like a break.
Numbing is an escape from reality. It includes things like binge watching, overeating junk food, or excessive consumption of alcohol. It works as a momentary distraction because it gives your brain a simple, dopamine-rich task to focus on. But it doesn't replenish the core resources you've lost. The brain is still actively processing the plot lines, the character dynamics, the social commentary.
So the circuit is still active, just pointed at something less stressful than work? True resting, then, must be the opposite.
Absolutely. True resting is the active restoration of energy. It's proactive. It requires switching the brain from thinking mode, planning, analyzing, worrying, solving problems, to being mode, where you exist without expectation or output.
Switching to being mode sounds wonderfully vague, but I think I get it. It means a walk without music, a nap, reading a physical book, or maybe just silence. And Max's specific need, the twitching eye, the not being able to stop scrolling, it was screaming for sensory rest. Louis was right. Stare at a wall or just close your eyes.
Max complained that sounded boring. And here's the essential truth. If you find true quiet or stillness boring, it is likely proof that you need it most desperately. That feeling of discomfort means your mind is so used to high stimulation that it doesn't know how to repair itself without external input.
Speaking of high stimulation, if you are enjoying this conversation about exhaustion and restoration, and you appreciate the way we break down difficult ideas into simple takeaways, you should definitely subscribe to the Straight to English channel. We specialize in taking big ideas and making sure you walk away sounding smarter immediately.
And now we get to the core of the problem. Max thought rest just meant sleeping. But because rest is an active process of restoration and not just a passive distraction, we must address the entire framework. Max needed sensory rest, but if he keeps going, his other 6 batteries are going to be dead soon too. This is the moment we introduce the 7 distinct types of rest.
This framework changed my life when I first encountered it. I always assumed if I slept enough, I was good, but then I realized I could be physically rested and yet completely incapable of having a conversation.
Exactly. Recovery is holistic. We need 7 unique approaches because our depletion can be physical, cognitive, emotional, or spiritual. Let's dissect the 7 types, and we can use Max as our ongoing case study. Number 1 is the foundational one, physical rest. This addresses bodily exhaustion. It includes both passive rest, like sleeping or napping, and active rest, like stretching, gentle yoga, or massage. It's about tending to the muscles and the structural system.
Okay, got it. Then we move to the brain's workload, which is mental rest. Max definitely needed this after 8 p.m., drowning in emails. A great strategy here is the brain dump, right? Writing down every nagging thought, task, or worry onto a piece of paper.
The act of externalizing those thoughts allows your brain to schedule them, effectively giving itself permission to forget them until tomorrow morning. It stops the endless internal cycling of lists.
And number 3, which we talked about, is Max's immediate prescription, sensory rest. This is so crucial in the digital age. It means deliberately reducing the input from your senses. So closing your eyes, using earplugs, turning off bright overhead lights, and just silencing your phone notifications for a while.
Next, we have creative rest. This addresses depletion that comes from constantly having to generate ideas, solve complex problems, or deliver output, even if that output is just replying to tricky emails.
Oh, interesting. So how do you restore creative energy?
You restore it by engaging with beauty, not demanding it from yourself. This means spending time looking at nature, walking through a museum, or simply watching a stunning sunset. It allows input, but input that is soothing and inspiring, not demanding.
Number 5 is where I think most people fall down, and it relates directly to burnout, emotional rest.
This is the critical practice of saying no. It addresses the exhaustion that comes from continuously holding back your feelings or doing the emotional labor of people-pleasing. Agreeing to commitments and tasks purely to make others happy, even when it completely depletes your own spirit.
This is so hard because saying no often feels rude.
But it is necessary for survival. Emotional rest requires authenticity and boundaries. If you feel like you cannot be yourself at work or with certain friends, you are bleeding emotional energy.
And that leads perfectly into number 6, social rest. I always thought social rest meant being alone, but it sounds like it's more nuanced than that.
It is. Social rest means either spending time alone, which is powerfully restorative, or choosing to spend time only with people who give you energy rather than demand it. If you have relationships that consistently leave you feeling drained, those relationships are consuming your social battery no matter how much you sleep.
It's the difference between feeling isolated and feeling restored by solitude. One is painful, The other is proactive.
And finally, number 7, spiritual rest. This is not necessarily religious, but about connecting to something larger than your immediate demands or your to-do list.
So connecting to purpose or your core values.
Precisely. It can be meditation, engaging in meaningful community service that aligns with your beliefs, or simply spending time reflecting on what truly matters. If your job feels meaningless, no amount of mental rest will fix that spiritual drain.
It's amazing to see how specific the solution can be. If Max's primary problem was the constant emotional strain of saying yes to impossible deadlines, sleeping for 10 hours won't fix it. He needs emotional rest and social rest.
Let's circle back to the language Max and Lily use, because admitting exhaustion is not a failure. It is a sign of high self-awareness and control.
Right. We covered running on fumes, which is the state before the collapse. But what about the sudden crash?
When Max was warned, Lily said he would crash if he didn't stop. To crash is to suddenly collapse from sheer exhaustion, physically or mentally often, after pulling an all-nighter or working 12 straight hours.
And the idiom to hit the wall is fantastic, comes straight from marathon runners. It describes that abrupt moment where your body just physically shuts down and your mental drive completely dissolves. No more fuel, physical or mental.
These idioms are great for native speakers, but for those focusing on precision, using the specific vocabulary we learned is even better. Phrases like, "my brain is overstimulated," or the most powerful boundary-setting phrase, "I need a mental health day."
I think "I need a mental health day" is such an empowering phrase. It frames the need for rest as a necessary preventative measure, not an emergency.
It is. And using that phrase, or saying, "I need to unplug," or "I need to reduce my social commitments," are the essential tools for setting boundaries, which, as we established, is the very cornerstone of emotional rest. Boundaries protect your energy so you don't have to resort to numbing later.
And on the subject of speed, we mentioned how quickly people speak. Did you notice how fast Lily delivered her final urgent advice? In natural, quick English, phrases like "you are right" often speed up so they sound like one unit. You rewrite. It's just this fast single sound.
That quick linguistic moment just drives home the idea. The world moves fast, and if we don't actively take time to slow down and listen to ourselves and others, we miss essential details.
We must remember this central idea we took away from this dive. You are a human being, not a human doing. Your value is inherent, and if you are constantly focused on output, you will always be depleted. True rest is restoration across those 7 areas, not merely distraction.
So we leave you with your homework. To truly apply this knowledge, identify one specific type of rest you are currently missing. Is it sensory rest because you haven't closed your eyes without a screen in front of you all day, or perhaps spiritual rest because you feel completely disconnected from your purpose?
Find that missing piece. And if you enjoyed this detailed exploration of a topic critical to modern life, please make absolutely certain you subscribe to the Straight to English channel. We are here to simplify complex ideas and give you the language you need, one deep dive at a time.
Now turn off your screens, put down the phone, and go get some proper targeted rest. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe.